Alright, you know what you're here for. Spend a minute. Last time I uploaded was billions of years ago. But, yeah, you know what it is. We're gonna rate every boss in Ultrakill. Don't click off. I need views, please. Remember, this is my opinion. I could be a little special and put your favorite boss at, like, a 6 out of 10. But, you know, that's alright. We can have very different opinions and I won't, like, send a pipe bomb to your house. Yet. Alright, so this guy's my goat. As he is all of our goats. Sadly, other than his, like, sharp as shit jawline, he doesn't have all that much going on for him. You kind of just shoot him a few times, parry a few of his charge shots. Overall, he's pretty mediocre. He's a better enemy than he's a boss, in my opinion, so we'll give him, like, a 4 out of 10, you know? Alright, this is a much better tutorial boss, at least in my opinion. Swords Machine actually is, like, really fun to fight. It's like a, diet Minos Prime fight. There's kind of two strategies to beat him. Either the one that most people that have fought him before, which is just parry him a bunch, have some fun with it. Or how I fought him the first time, which is jump around and fucking pray. Overall, nice boss, and it lets you think, like, vertically, like, jumping around, and just teaches you how to parry, which is really, really important for the rest of the game. Overall, I think it deserves a 7 out of 10. Alright, this fight is a bit of a clusterfuck on your first attempt. When I personally fought this first boss, genuinely couldn't tell what the fuck was going on. I threw myself at it like 10 plus times, and it just ended up working after like the 7th attempt, and I just kind of fucking projectile boosted and prayed. Now, after, like, as you get better just at the game, you understand what's going on, and I think it's overall not a bad fight, but I don't think it's as good at teaching the player and just as fun as the Swords Machine fight is. So I think overall, I think we can give it a 6 out of 10 and just be completely okay. This is an interesting one, because you either really like this fight, or you just think it's just kind of alright. There's no, like, real hideous-ass fanboys out there that just see this boss and go, this one's my favorite. I don't think there's anyone out there. I do think it's a good way to teach the player about weak points and how you have to attack the tail and not the face. But honestly, it's nothing too special, especially compared to the boss that comes right after it. But I think it's alright, you know, there's nothing really wrong. So I'll say it's a 6 out of 10 on this boss. Alright, I've got a lot to say about this boss, so buckle up. This is the first real challenge, and honestly, I would not be surprised if a lot of players just said this was their favorite boss. And honestly, it kicked my teeth in like everybody else when I first tried it. But I never felt as if it was unfair. It was all just me playing worse than V2. One of the big challenges that this boss really poses is that it's not big and slow like all the other bosses, or is easy to parry and get health back. V2 is actually really difficult to heal on. Even I struggle to heal, and I normally don't heal and just fucking kill him before he can really damage me very hard. The real strategy that I always use is just splash damage, fucking coins. That's all you gotta do, and you'll beat him pretty quickly. There's also the speedrunning aspect, which is this first level that really kind of got into speedrunning. I never got very good at it, but I still did, you know, enjoy speedrunning it. Anyways, pretty cool boss, and it brings a very unique challenge, especially for this part of the game. 8 out of 10. This is one of those bosses that I feel like had just so much potential, and I feel like it really wasn't put to the best use, especially after coming after the masterclass of this V2. The Corpse of King Minos is not a bad fight, but it's nowhere near as difficult as V2, so the boss comes off as incredibly easy and just a little bit boring. I'm not saying it's not fun, but just it doesn't apply pressure. That's my issue with it. I feel like I can stand still, and I'm a little rusty at this game. I haven't played in forever. But I feel like I can stand still for like 10 seconds at a time and just parry and shoot. That's not that fun. And there are giant bosses like Leviathan that do put pressure on you. But I just feel like this boss is just too early on to be able to do that. So it just doesn't have its same success. 5.5 out of 10. Gabriel is a very interesting boss. And just to be upfront about it, I do prefer him over V2.
I think is teleporting you and forcing you to quickly find him and continue dodging is a interesting concept and helps put you in the mindset of fighting the harder bosses. Some people consider fighting Minos after Gabriel. I think you should beat the game first, but some people do think that Minos comes after Gabriel. And I think that he is a good stepping stone to being able to handle Minos Prime. Are you ready for Minos Prime if you beat him? Fuck no, you are not ready. But I think that finding him and dodging his like sword swings and parrying his sword can be fun. But other than the teleporting, I honestly think he's a pretty mediocre boss. But I think the teleporting does really, really help. So 8.5 out of 10.
I really do not like this boss. There's no other way to say it. I don't think it teaches you anything. I know I rated Maurice a 4 out of 10 because it's Maurice. It's the first boss in the game. But if the Sisyphean Insurrectionist didn't have such cool lore, I would honestly rate him like a 3 or a 2 out of 10 in a heart. I don't find him fun to fight, and I think all of his attacks can be dodged in like 2 ways. Either parry, which I suck at, or jump and dash out of the way. It doesn't make it any difficult. And the sand, it does nothing. It's just not, I don't like it. 5 out of 10. I hate getting this footage. I was miserable. Ugh. This is a real real fucking boss fight, unlike the Insurrectionist. Sadly, it doesn't have the coin punch speedrun trick, but it does make up for it in the new coin attack and the ending sequence. Genuinely, I do kind of love this shit. It also drops one of the best items of the game, as is in the Whiplash. But honestly, like 90% of what I said originally for V2 still applies. It's just kind of cooler now, and with a banging theme. This fight honestly isn't too remarkable for me personally. I think it's a good fight all around, but there's just nothing really special that it excels at. I like the fact you can skip him entirely by using a coin. I think that's a fun Easter egg. Other than that, you're just alright. The lightning is cool and parrying is fun. If I could ever land that parry on him. But other than that, it's nothing special. 7 out of 10. Honestly, I think this is how a giant boss should be done. The boss doesn't fall down the same hole when it comes to this fight does. It actually applies pressure to you, whether you're dodging this big, massive swing or this headbutt. Where you gotta dodge those 100 projectiles. You're always doing something instead of just sitting around. And overall, I find it a pretty fun boss. Sad it doesn't have a bunch of lore behind it like some of the Sisyphean bosses do, but pretty good. 7 out of 10. This is a fun boss, and I think the intro generally goes really fucking hard. Having a boss talk to you is nice. Nice change of pace, and Gianni puts on a great performance. I love you, Gianni. Have my kids. This boss, starting off in Rage, is also, I think, better just for it in general, because you can't really skip a lot of it by interrupting him with a nail gun. You also have to deal with the initial rust that makes the second phase a lot more stressful, and I suck at this fight. This is the first fight you're probably going to ever see me die on, because I hate it. I'm so bad at it. But, yeah, I think it's a really fun fight. So, yeah, 8 out of 10. You fight this boss twice, and I won't be talking about them separately, because honestly I don't really have a lot to say. I think the first time you fight him is alright, and the idea of an enemy coming in the tracks to heal is interesting. But the boss is really, really easy to dodge, and once you figure out his attacks, I think the rematch just a few months after, first fight, doesn't have enough health, it dies really quickly, and my first attempt I killed him before I can even process what was happening. Honestly, it's a forgettable boss, 6 out of 10. Honestly, I don't really consider this a boss. It's like 7 small enemies that just go down really fast with a few projectile boosts. Luckily, this isn't really the boss of the entire level, but if the climax of violence was this, I'd be really disappointed. Anyway, it's not a great fight, but it's alright. 5 out of 10.
This fight is either a fun, interesting challenge or mind-numbingly easy, depending on how good you are. Sadly, I'm kind of in the group that finds it really easy. Even though I can't one-cycle it, all you have to do is just use the saws and railcoin your way to victory. If you don't know how to do all those tricks like railcoining and don't have the saw, honestly it is a little challenging. Only a little though. Overall it's not bad, just easy. 7 out of 10. Honestly, this is just a harder version of the last boss. The healing can be really annoying, but seriously, it's nothing special. Just play it safe and get rid of the eyes and parry the slow projectiles. But who plays P-1 for the last version, so I think we should try and get onto the boss we're all actually here for. This boss is practically the face of the game, and honestly, I understand why. When you think of an Ultrakill boss, you think of this guy. Some people might think of V2 or Gabriel, but we don't talk about those fuckers. Anyways, this boss is a true test to see what you've been taught. Consider it a sword machine that popped 100 years worth of perks right before fighting you. Having him telegraph all of his moves before doing them is nice when you actually know what he's gonna do. Sadly, when you walk in there, he doesn't know, and he's gonna touch your no-no places without a sliver of consent. His lore is really cool. The idea he's some benevolent king certainly does not align from Minos from actual Greek mythology, but it does make you feel guilty for killing him, so I think it's alright and it worked out in the end. He does have one flaw though, that after you memorize his attacks and get good at fighting him, he does lose some of the challenge, so I must take off some points for that. But seriously, it's the best boss we've seen so far. 9.7 out of 10. I'm gonna lump together the Flesh Panopticon and Sisyphus because the Flesh Panopticon is an interactive intro. It's cool, but honestly, it's nothing special. But Sisyphus, on the other hand, is my favorite boss fight in the entire game. I like his aggression that Minos just doesn't have. And after you get used to his attacks, he's still aggressive. He has a few easy parries that I will admit let you heal quickly. But when he goes after you, he really does just go after you. You have to be dashing practically before he teleports, because if you don't, it's already too late. Honestly, I think this boss is just more fun, and just has an overall way better lore. The idea that this is some king that tried to overthrow heaven and fight and lost, only to come back stronger and just have this like indomitable will that you can never break down no matter what you do. It's just such a really cool idea, and the insurrectionists, as much as I hate them, are also pretty cool. Anyways, perfect fight, nothing wrong with it. My glorious king, have my babies. 10 out of 10. Alright, that's all I have. Channel's been doing good, haven't uploaded in a while. Saw the, what's it called, the scaling V1 did pretty well. Got a couple hundred views, which is good for me. If you're watching this to the end, you're like, please subscribe. You hopefully enjoyed it, or you YouTube autoplay. Thank you, my god. That's about it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll just let this play out to hit a little bit extra time. Adios.